up, YouTube fans? Today we're going to take a look at the FansToys Tesla 2.0, their version of a masterpiece Perceptor. So this is a very highly anticipated figure because we did just get the X-Transbots Jansen, their version of Perceptor. And so these guys are competing, and here is FansToys' take on Perceptor. Let's take a look at what you need to do right out of the box. So there's a couple of things. Number one, you've got this little piece here, so you're going to lift this up and then put that back down so you get it square like that. Then you're going to take his scope here, slide that on. So it's just going to slide right onto that piece, and then you can lift that up, and that can just sit just like that. All right. You also have to do one other thing. And maybe it's just my copy, but my copy came with these flipped the wrong way. Not sure why, but go ahead and take this, flip it around, and plug that back in so you get the smooth side on the outside. Same with this one. Flip this around, get the smooth side out. You have a pull down joint here. You have to pull these down, otherwise you won't be able to rotate. So it comes in box, it may come like that, non-extended. So make sure you extend it. And then one last thing, and this is a preference thing, so you don't have to do it, but if you pull out here on these two little widgets, you can flip down this piece here. And again, this is a preference. If you like it, you can have it. If you don't like it, you don't need to have it. But it does fill in his abs right there. So you can have that little piece. And it will limit the articulation, but you can move it out of the way. And I'll show you that later when we get over articulation. But there he is, fully transformed, fully ready. Let's just peg in the chest there, because I popped it out when I opened this up. But really, really beautiful. Let's put the G1 cartoon image there. Some people have already told me he looks kind of dark. He is a darker red than Jansen. I will bring in Jansen a little bit later for comparison. But it is a dark metallic red and a darker blue. Almost like the color we got on the replacement parts for the Tesla 1.0. They were these darker blue color. There's the back, very clean. Some people have complained about the screws. I don't have any problem with the screws. They're black. They're painted black screws. Doesn't bother me at all. Looks fine. So overall, really, really nice looking. You get a billion accessories with this. Not as many as Jansen, but you get a lot. So first off, you get this gun, painted in the same metallic red. It does have a bipod here. So if you want to have him prone on the ground and have him using this, you can do that. If not, you can just close it up, or close it up this way and just have it sit there. It's nice that it folds up just like that and can be put away, because I don't plan to use that, to be honest. Go ahead and open the hands. The hands are the more rounded type, kind of like what we've been getting with the Acoustic Wave. You know, they've gone away from the squared off fingers, and now you have these more natural hand with the rounded fingers. But there you go. He's got this gun. You also get this toy gun. It doesn't shoot or anything. I don't need it to, but it doesn't shoot. The same metallic red with a metallic gunmetal on the handle. And that can also go into his hand. And again, these are all just like any other Masterpiece or FansToys we've gotten in the past. Just tab them in, close the hands, and those fit very securely in those hands. So really nice, but that's not all. So you also get an alternate chest piece. So if you want to change that out, go ahead and open up this. And actually it might be easier if you lift this up. Then let's get this hidden away. So fold that piece inwards. And now let's pull this down. And the reason I want to do that is so I can show you there's 4 tabs sticking out here. 1, 2, 3, 4. So you want to push on those little by little, and that will get this chest piece popped out. All right, so that's pretty close. Let me see if I can get a little bit more. All right, and once you get it out far enough, you can just grab a corner or grab the edge and pull that out. And there you go. So here's that clear piece. Here is the painted piece. And it does cover up this detail here, so just be aware, if you want that detail, you got to put the clear piece on. So let's go ahead and get this pegged back in. And we'll take this, bring that down. I'm just going to do it without the little sticking out piece for now. And then go ahead and take this, and that's just going to peg right in. And there you go. And I'll give it a little wipe because it is a fingerprint magnet. I've noticed, especially on the chrome and the painted surfaces, it really does grab your fingerprints. But look at that beautiful, beautiful look. Either one of these, me personally, I think I prefer the clear, but you really can do whatever you prefer. I just think I like the clear, but both of them look great. Now you get a ton of faces, so let's take a look at all those faces. So there's the stock face. It's got, a little bit of a smile. Kind of nice. Now in order to get these heads off, you basically are going to slide forward. You can see there's a little block right here. It's actually really convenient the way they've done it. I took off his scope just so I could show you, but there's a little tab on the front, so that's going to peg into the front of the back of the face. So it does sit nice and secure, but it's also easy to get off. So there you go. There's face number 2. I'm numbering them because there's 9 of them, so I have to go through them all. But there's a kind of a yelling, open mouth face. I really like this one. There's number 3, kind of a sad or upset face with squinty eyes there. There's number 4. So this is basically just a straight face, maybe a little bit of a frown, but I actually like this one a lot. This would probably be my preferred face, but there you go. And there's his IDW comic face with the eyepiece. Again, beautifully done with that metallic blue. And you can see the head sculpt is different. They got rid of the yellow pearl here, and then you just got the black in a different shape. And there's the IDW face yelling. That looks good as well. There's the IDW face kind of smiling or laughing maybe. And there you have the toy face with the yellow eyes, and that looks good as well. So you really get 3 different style heads. You get the standard head, which is the cartoon head. Then you get 4 of those. You get the IDW, you get 3 of those, and then you get 1 of the toy head. So you can really choose what you think looks best. And on top of that, if you don't like any of those and you want a different face, they give you these. So 2 additional faces. These have goatees on them, so if you prefer, you can do that. So no shortage of head sculpts for you. And we did forget to show his collector's card here. There it is, FT-46 Tesla 2.0. There's his tech specs, big long bio if you want to read that. It's also on the back of the box. Nice little card there. All right, now let's go over Tesla's articulation. The head is on a rotating swivel, so it goes up to there, down to there, and rotates all the way around. The scope can go up and down like that, and you can extend it. If you go past the end point, it will click, so I don't recommend doing that too much, but you can do that. You can have it straight or up. If you want it further up, you can lift it off that joint and get it way up, so you really can put this in any position. You can rotate the arms all the way around on this joint, nice tight, it's a friction joint. Goes out to the side. If you want to open it up a little bit more, you can kind of open this cap here and get that a little bit more. Although it doesn't really hinder until you get to there. If you want to open it past that, then you got to open this and then you can get it up all the way. All right. You can get the full bend here at the elbow. So it gets you well past 90 degrees, almost a full bend, not quite. It collides there. You have a rotation at the wrist. Individually articulated fingers, and as I mentioned, they are rounded, similar to what we got with Acoustic Wave. And you can pull out the thumb on a ball joint, and then it has a joint in the middle. So you can get whatever poses you want out of that hand. You have a rotation at the waist on a ratchet. Rotates all the way around freely. You have an ab crunch here. It looks like it's limited, but it's actually not. So all you have to do is pull this forward right here. And just leave it forward a little bit, and that'll give you a little more space. The more you pull that forward, you can get him all the way down. I mean, what more do you want? You can do everything you need. You just got to move this out of the way. I also mentioned earlier, if you utilize this little piece right here, it will prevent you from rotating the waist, right? So you just got to move that out of the way. See, it kind of locks up. So make sure you move that and don't break it off of the joint. But again, if you don't want it and you don't like the look of it, just put it away. You don't need to use it. All right, continuing down, you have hip skirts here. Lift them out of the way. Why is this one so tight? There we go. It's a very, very tight joint, but it goes up to there, back to there on ratchet, out to the side on friction, all super duper tight. The back hip skirt is one piece, but I don't really care because it's on the back. We had the same thing with the MMC Medicus or the Ocular Max, and I say as long as it's on the back, who cares? Doesn't matter. But don't do that on the front. That's my message to FansToys. All right, continuing on, you have a rotation at the thigh. Very tight joint here. Now, yesterday, Pake, when he did his review, he mentioned he has some scraping on his thigh. I don't seem to have anything. I've transformed several times now, so I'm not sure how he ended up with that. But right now, I don't have any scrapes. We'll see after the review. You have a double jointed knee here and here, gets you the full bend. You have ankle tilt all the way out to here. You have a rocker that gets you down to there, and then a toe tilt up here. And there you have Tesla with his movie castmates. So we got Takara Ultra Magnus, Takara's RC, KFC Blaster, which needs to go, DX9's version of Rodimus Prime, FansToys, Springer FansToys Cup, and the KFC version of Wreck-Gar. Fits in very nicely. He does have a shinier paint scheme than most of them, except for maybe KFC's transistor, but I still think it looks good and fits in nicely. And there's a comparison. I think most people want to see the X-Transbots Jansen. Yes, the colors are very, very different. This red is actually almost like a brick red or a firehouse red, whereas this is a deep maroon or even metallic candy apple red. So very different choices there. We are going to do a versus, of course, that will be probably later this week. But I did want to show you something, and this was pointed out to me by Carl S. I want to show it to you as well. Here's the book for Tesla. He is much lighter red here than he is here. Now, me personally, I like this red, but for those that were looking forward to this red, the Jansen probably matches a lot better with this color than this guy. But there you go for a comparison. All right, now let's get Tesla transformed into his microscope mode. It is a relatively complex transformation, but no more so than Jansen or any other Perceptor. Go ahead and lift up the arm, fold down this panel, rotate the hand around, and then fold that in. Make sure you have it folded up like this so it'll fit in there. If this is really tight and you're having a hard time, just loosen that screw a little bit. Mine was a little bit tight when I first got it. Make sure the hand is rotated straight and then collapse it down inside. Take this panel, you're going to lift up on this, and sometimes it can be tough, but go ahead and get that and just fold that down for now. Same on this side. All right, we'll do this one as well. Open up the panel, rotate the hand, fold the hand in, and again, this one is really tight. I'm going to have to loosen that screw. Tab that in, make sure this is straight, and collapse. Now you can transform with the scope on there. It will just get in your way a little bit, but you can do it. You don't need to take it off. So go ahead and take this, fold that up like that. It's easiest to grab it here. Then take the whole thing and fold that down. And that's going to give you access to the inside here. We do need to take these arms out, so lift this up. And these are going to fold down like that. And you can kind of see what's going on inside there. So same on this side. This arm folded down. All right, next go ahead and take the head, and this is going to flip around like this, and we have to take this, and this has got to get undone. And this is what I was talking about. You may have an easier time with that off. You can transform it on, but I really don't want to risk hurting that. But this is a very tight joint, so you got to get this, rotate it up, get the head straight down. This is going to come down. It can just sit here for now. All right, we'll take care of that later. This is going to rotate straight, And again, that is a very tight joint, so be careful. Now, like I mentioned, you can leave this on here. Me personally, I took it off, but you can leave it on there. Right. Now we're going to take care of this, so go ahead and get the arms rotated 180 degrees and then fold it up. And now this entire thing is going to collapse inside of his shoulder. Right? So get this up and in. It should sit kind of like that. And then that's going to fold up and tab right there. So you can see there's a little slot on the side of this microscope. And make sure you get that pegged in. This can fold down and tab into the side of the arm. Now we'll do the same thing on this side. Go ahead and take this, rotate the arm around, fold it up. All right, next go ahead and take this arm, and this is going to accordion up and in just like the other arm. Take this panel, this is going to come down and tab into the side, and then there's a tab on the outside that's going to go into there. Cool little transformation there. And make sure you're clearing everything on the front and the back, and then get that tabbed in nice and tight. Take this panel, fold that down just like the other side. We're going to leave this for now because we may have to move this. Once you lock this in, it will kind of lock that microscope piece in place. So I would just leave it like that, but we are going to put this into place. All right, now let's take care of the legs. So come down to here, and there's quite a bit to do down here. So I'll move one out of the way so I can show you what to do. So first, unpeg this, and that's going to come down. Now this piece is on a friction pin, so you can pull it off. If you do pull it off, just put it back on. It just press fits back on there. But go ahead and get that tabbed into there. Open up this panel here, and that's going to fold down and tab into there. Fold this panel down. This is going to rotate to the inside, so you have the wheel on the bottom, and make sure this stays pegged into the bottom. So that's going to make the wheel on the bottom of the microscope mode. All right, now that we have that open, we're going to open up this panel here, and that's going to free up this leg to rotate. So again, make sure you have this hip skirt up, rotate this up, and we're going to rotate this all the way around. So we have to free up this thigh. So come to the bottom, unpeg this clip here, fold the leg to the inside. See how it moves like that? And this is going to fold down and tab in. So you want this tab going into that hole, and then the inner tab going into this slot, which is going to be different when we go to tank mode. So just pay attention to that, all right? This is going to flip around. Now here's where I think people may be damaging this thigh joint. So you want to have this clear right here on the top. It should clear, but you may have a pretty tight tolerance there. So make sure you have this open too. So just make sure it's got enough room and then rotate it. If it's tight, that means you have this not straight. You got to have this straight, otherwise you'll scratch up your thighs there. Right, go ahead and close this back down. There's a tab there. It's going to go into here now. So it's a different spot. You can also take this, close that down. Come to the bottom here. You're going to take this tab that we pulled out earlier. That's going to sit down like that. Right? Rotate the leg straight like that. Right? And that's one leg done. Not too bad. So let's do the other one. I'll try to go a little faster this time. Fold this down and tab that into the side. Open this up. Open this up. Come to the bottom. Fold the toe down. Flip this around to the other side so the wheel's on the bottom. Make sure this is still plugged in to the bottom. Open up this panel here. Come to the bottom. Untab this tab. Fold this to the inside. This is going to accordion down and tab into the side of the leg. All right, next go ahead and take this and swing it around. Again, make sure you're clearing this right here and you're not scraping that thigh if you can avoid it. And get this leg straightened up. Fold this in and tab that into the inside of the leg. There we go. And then take this panel, tab that in, and make sure you have the legs nice and straight. Okay, come to the bottom here, open this up, fold this wheel down, and then close that back up. And then the last step here, take this, as I mentioned before, you don't want to do this until you're done, so you have some wiggle room here. Push that into place, and again, that's going to be tough to get out, but there you go. Fold this down, and then open up your viewfinder there. All right, and there we have Tesla in his microscope mode. Really nice looking, very clean from every angle. There's nothing sticking out. Here's the back. I have noticed, you know, he is a fingerprint magnet, but you can just take a cloth and wipe that off. But really beautiful paint job. It's pretty solid. Nothing moves on this, including the scope. Everything is just solid. The only thing that's even remotely loose is this, but this is a big honking piece of die cast, so it just kind of sits there. Really, really nice feel to it. It does roll because you've got the 3 wheels, so you can roll on that, and that feels good. You can open and close this, so it has a resistance point, so if you get all the way down, then you rotate it the other way, and you'll feel the resistance. If you rotate past the resistance, you'll feel a click, kind of like those old pullback cars, erasers. You pull it back and it will start clicking when you got all the way back. You don't want to do that here. I think it's just putting stress on this, whatever's in here, the gear. So I would recommend not going past when you feel resistance. Also, all of these chrome pieces need to be wiped down from fingerprints. But there you go, really, really good looking, kind of a beautiful microscope. You can put something on here if you want to. The microscope itself does not work like a microscope, so if you look through, you can't really see anything. So I don't really care, but I just wanted to let you know because I know people are going to ask me about that, whether this works as a real microscope. It does not work as a real microscope. And for a size comparison, there is Tesla next to the MP10 Optimus Prime. Obviously, microscope mode scale is not going to make sense no matter what you do, but there it is for a sense of the size. All right, now let's get Tesla transformed into his tank mode, and it is quite a bit different. So go ahead and retract this. You just leave that down like that. Come to the bottom here. We have quite a bit of work to do down here. So open this up, fold this wheel back in. You can close that. Open up this panel. Open up this little tab here, and we're going to unpeg this panel right here. Then we can take this entire leg and get a little bit of room, but we have to swing this entire piece out. And that's the part I said to be careful because you don't want to scratch here. I don't have any scratches. I think Pig said he had some so far. So I think if you're careful with that, you can avoid that. Rotate this all the way around. Then unpeg from here. And now you can put this back in, and that'll tab back in on the side. Just tab that in right there. Come to this side here. I'm going to close up all these panels again. Flip this around so you get the tank tread. And I've noticed this tends to pop off if you're not careful. So you got to get this rotated right way. All right, now we can close this up and get it tabbed back into the side of his leg. So it looks something like that. Then we're going to take out this wheel, so go ahead and take this, unpeg it from here. If you need a spudger, go ahead and grab a spudger. Go ahead and take the heel here. That's going to unpeg from the side of the foot and then extend out. Flip this panel over. And then this is going to plug back into that. So get this collapsed down and actually collapses into the foot and then get it pegged in to, into the bottom of the foot. It is a very tight connection, so just be aware. And then you obviously want the wheel exposed on the bottom. All right, so that's one leg. Now we can take care of this. So go ahead and we're going to rotate this down. And this is going to actually end up back like this. And make sure that tab is out. You can fold it in now, but make sure it's out while you're connecting this. All right, so there's one side done. I'm going to do the same thing on this side, go a little faster this time. Go ahead and open up this. open up this panel here. That's going to allow you to take this, swing this around, and be gentle with this because you don't want to scratch that. Unpeg the leg. That'll allow you to straighten this out and peg this back into the side of the leg. And make sure you line that up with the slot. Come to this side. We can close this panel up. Close this panel up. Again, swing this open. And you're going to swing this around and then down and onto the leg. It should all peg in. Go ahead and get this pegged in right here. Then you can bring the leg down. And rotate at the thigh. And we'll just leave these right here. All right, now we'll take care of this part here. So we do have to kind of undo this, unfortunately. So use a spudger or some other tool, but you have to get underneath this panel. It's a very tight panel, so I'll just show you. Get a spudger and just get underneath there so you can get this panel popped open. All right. Once you get that, you can fold this panel up on itself, and it's going to sit just like that. Come to the sides here, and we're going to open this up. Unpeg this arm from the side. Is pegged in right there, so unpeg that. And we have to basically flip this arm around. So lift it up, and you gotta lift it up all the way. Rotate it. It won't rotate if you don't lift it up all the way, so don't try rotating it. You're gonna stretch the paint if you do that. All right, and then this is gonna go back in and sit just like it was sitting before, except it's not gonna tab in now. It's just gonna sit there. All right. So it shows something like that. All right. So same on this side. We're going to get this out of here. And again, we want to be cautious with this, but you can use a spudger to detach this tab. All right. Untab from the side of the arm. Now you can lift up this, rotate around, and close that back down. Make sure you have this accordion in. All right, now we're going to take this entire assembly, and that's going to go back in. Make sure those are down. All right, now we can start assembling the tank. Make sure you fold up these hip skirts on the side if they're not already folded up. And you want the legs straight across here. Otherwise, you're going to have a hard time getting them pegged in. So there's one peg here. It's going to go in there. A slot here where this peg's going to go. And then this is going back into this. All right, so get that all lined up. And once you have it lined up, then give it a nice push. Actually, you can close this down too. And it's got to be exactly straight. So if it's not going in easily, that means you don't have it straight. All right, so get that in, and there you go. So that's one side done. We'll do the same thing on this side, and again, you just have to be judicious about how you do it, but make sure it's straight, make sure this leg is not rotated, line everything up, and then give it a push, and there you go. All right, go ahead and take this. This is going to rotate upwards on this joint right here. And we forgot to do this wheel, so I'll do this now. Unpeg from here. Just make sure you get it out of that little circle there. Right, close this back down. Open up this panel right here, and then tab that in. Very tight tab right there, but that's how you get the wheel in place. Fold this open, fold out this wheel, fold that down. And there you have Tesla in tank mode. Again, solid as a rock. The only thing that really moves is this. But other than that, I mean, it doesn't do anything. You do have wheels, so 1, 2, 3, and again, it rolls. This one doesn't roll as well as the other one. It might be just because I don't have it flat or something like that. Oh, maybe it's because I don't have this wheel right. Here we go. Now you can take these guns and they have a little tab right here on the side. So if you want to, you can take these and plug them in and just fold that down. And then same for this one. It's got the little tab. So you can plug that in. There we go. I'm not sure that was worth it, but there it is with the guns. Really cool. I really love how that looks. So final thoughts on the FansToys Tesla 2.0. Before we get started, I want to show you this here. There is a sliding joint here, which you need for transformation. I forgot to show it. So you slide that back. That'll allow this wheel to hit the ground in the tank mode. So just be aware of that. And then you slide it back forward for robot modes. This will sit nice and flat. So let's talk about the positives. This thing looks outstanding. The paint job overall, nice metallic gloss, the chrome finish, the die-cast parts filled with die-cast. By the way, this entire lower leg piece and foot is die-cast. You can see the die-cast parts in the leg here. The upper chest has die-cast. This piece here for the chest is die-cast. In the arms, I mean, it's just filled. It's so heavy and it feels really, really solid. I also like the accessories. You got a lot of accessories this time, much more than usual. You got 2 guns, you got 9 heads, and then 2 alternate faces, and then an alternate chest piece that you can swap out. I mean, that's quite a bit for a FansToys figure. Obviously competing directly with X-Transbots, so they wanted to include a lot of stuff with this. I also think that the articulation, which I was expecting to be poor, is really top-notch. It has everything you would want. Double jointed elbows and knees. You've got the waist rotation and ab crunch all the way. You can get it all the way crunched. You get the ankle tilts. I mean, everything is there. There's nothing really missing. So I was really impressed by that. Negatives wise, I do feel like there's some really tight joints on this guy, especially right out of the box. There's some things that kind of get in the way, and you really need a spudger for transformation. Otherwise, you're going to hurt your fingers. This is kind of a required tool now for FansToys. Certain tabs and pieces, you really need this. Otherwise, it's going to kind of hurt. But it doesn't break. It doesn't feel like it's going to break. It's really solid. Nothing moves. I mean, it's just a solid, very well-built premium product. When I say that it's tight, I mean that in a good way. But you do want a spudger, and you do have to be careful. So that's really my only complaint, is some tight joints. Other than that, highly recommend this figure. That being said, I am going to still do a versus with the X-Transbots, Jensen. That'll be a more objective way to look at them. I know there's some things that Jensen did well, and so that should be an interesting versus for sure. So stay tuned for that. That's it for today. Thanks for watching, and we'll see you next time.